My name is João Miquel. I come from Portugal and I work as a site supervisor. I started working in Portugal as a landscape architect, but mostly office, mostly design, which was, I always found it a bit boring. Also, the opportunities in Portugal were, there wasn't a lot of job offers for this kind of work. So I was forced to move to South Africa and trying to, make a life for myself. Also didn't really work out the way I expected, but something great came out of it, which was I saw a job advertisement in 2014 when I got the job offer. Obviously, I spoke to my family and some friends, and everybody was a bit reluctant. Everybody was, I guess they didn't know the country very well, they didn't know the people. So people were a bit, especially my family, they were a bit scared of me coming here. They were a bit scared of the cultural shock. Once I arrived, it was really great because I was working on site. I work here as a site supervisor and it's very practical. And for me, it's a good change from the office to move from something very theoretical that is on paper that you don't see anything and to see it actually being built. It's really interesting. You learn a lot and it's also a lot more interactive with the, with the laborers and all the engineers, big teams. I mean, the projects here are huge. So there's not a dull moment at work. One of the things I enjoy a lot about my work, and it's very rewarding, is the chance to work and collaborate with the local engineers and the local laborers. And it's just the healthy exchange of ideas, how we can support each other, how we can learn from each other. And yeah, I'm really happy when I'm able to pass on some information. You get a lot of young people who are starting and they want to learn, they're keen to learn, and I'm always keen to teach. So it's very rewarding when you get to pass on some of this knowledge. My motivation to keep working and to wake up every morning is, once the end product is done and seeing people using it and enjoying themselves, it's very rewarding to see all the hard work that we put in, bear fruits, and I guess that's it. Yeah, just people enjoying what you've built. Since I arrived up until now, I definitely see a change, especially in the people. Before, you didn't really see a lot of people outside. It was certain areas were a bit of a ghost town, and nowadays you go out and it's just so vibrant. Everybody is, doing their thing. Just being themselves, and tons of activities, tons of interesting cafes, tons of different initiatives happening. So it's great to see that change, and it's been a privilege to witness that. When it comes to food, I'm not a big fan of the fancy restaurants and the franchise. I really like those, let's call it dingy restaurants that you meet around Saudi Arabia. The nice pool, for instance, is fantastic. So everything that's too flashy, I tend to avoid, and I like going into those that are, not so attractive, and it's really nice. You end up meeting really nice people, good and cheap food also, yeah.
My name is Feng Li. I grew up in Canada. I was born in Vietnam with Chinese background. I trained as a nurse and I worked in critical care for over 15 years. So I decided 2 years ago to stop that, and I've been teaching yoga for the past 5-6 years now. So Miguel actually came to one of my yoga class, and then after a couple of months or so of just talking and him being away, I was asking him to take me out climbing. So that's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess our two worlds just met. I was a bit curious about yoga. I was a beginner, and Fong wanted to learn more about rock climbing. She was a beginner, so we kind of ended up teaching each other yoga and rock climbing, and and then things just took its course.
And the place he took me to is like over 2 hours away, so it took a salon drive, so you kind of get to know someone.
Come on.
Oppa!
Yeah. Nice. Go
Good.
for it.
Where's my foot? There.
Big one.
All
Boom.
right.
Match it. Done.
Nice. Outside of work, I'm very passionate about rock climbing. It's something that I've been practicing for 20 years. It helps me stay in balance. It helps me relieve from stress. It puts me in contact with the outside world, with nature mostly, and while at the same time exercising. So it's really healthy. I got into rock climbing when I was in my 24s. I was sitting in the beach waiting, and I looked back and there were some people just climbing on rocks, and immediately that clicked with me. I said, yeah, that's what I want to do. You get more out of it if you start training in an indoor gym, because in these type of facilities you have trained people that can that can guide you and teach you not just the safety but also how to climb efficiently. So in 2014, when I first arrived in Saudi, there was no rock climbing, and rock climbing has always been a strong part of my life. Without it, I go a bit out of balance. So it was hard in the beginning not having that. But after 6 or 5 years of looking for rocks to climb, eventually I found a spot with the help of a local person. One of the most fantastic places I've been was a place called Tenuma, down south in the Asir region. Fantastic rock climbing, fantastic mountains. That place was really surprising because up until then, I guess when you think about Saudi Arabia, you think of desert. And when you go down there, you see the luscious green and the granite mountains, and yeah, it really blew my mind. I traveled up to Neom. Very contrasting landscape, by the way. It's more sandstone, all those sand mounds, I don't know how to describe those sand domes. Yeah, they make for very interesting landscapes. Taif also, I've been there. There's also a nice rock climbing spot there. And another place that really blew my mind was the Red Sea, up close to Tabuk. We had a chance to spend some time there, and it's precious. It's really great. We love it. One time that I went to the desert, trying to explore for new climbing areas, and my car broke down. I didn't have a signal on my phone, so I was in a difficult situation. I just packed all my water, started walking in the desert, and I ran into this local guy who offered to help immediately. He didn't even blink. He came, he fixed my car, and drove me to to his local farm and introduced me to his friends. We spent the day there. He gave me lunch, gave me water. He kind of saved me. After that, because he saw how passionate I was about rock climbing, he offered to drive me around and to show the cliffs. And that's where we found one of the main cliffs close to Riyadh, which is called Wadi Al-Akho. And yeah, I remember during the time that we spent together, he kept referring to me as his Akho, which I later found out that means brother. And that's the reason why I named that place Wadi Al-Akho. I named it after him because of his generosity. When I first arrived in the country, I admit I was prejudiced of the Saudi culture. When we first arrive here and when you're abroad, people who don't know the culture, who don't know the country, we hear a lot of gossip, we hear a lot of exaggerations. And having met my friend Naif, who rescued me in the desert, it's just totally broke all those stereotypes. Yeah, sometimes being away from the family and friends, it's a bit hard. I get a bit homesick every once in a while. But luckily I've made some good friends here. You know, I met my wife here, which really makes a difference.
It's actually my third time back in Saudi, so it's nice, it's good. Throughout the day I'm planning my classes, on the weekend we go climbing. And then we look forward to trips outside of the kingdom, and we're in the kingdom. Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah, I think it's nice that we have these activities and that we're able to share it. Yeah, it makes it good.
So today we went to Treasure Island, which is close to Riyadh. We don't have to drive 2-3 hours to get there. And so we just plan to meet either at the crag or at a central point, and we usually go off together. We all usually have our own equipment, like rope and quick draws and all that safety stuff too, so yeah.
Yeah, it also takes us a while to get into climbing because we're always so happy to see all the guys, so saying hello to everyone. Takes a bit of time until we get into it, but it's always good fun, good people, always a good time.
Always a good group there to talk to, so yeah.
I played a little part in the rock climbing scene in Riyadh, which is very rewarding for me. And it's great to see, you know, these guys, when we first met, like they really didn't know what they were doing. So I always try to take time to teach them some, not just some safety tips, but also how to improve their climbing, how to stay calm, how to be more efficient, things like that. So it's really rewarding to see throughout the years how they've evolved. I think in Saudi Arabia, this is, especially in Riyadh, the community is, you know, it's slowly growing, and more we see new people coming, and it's hard to pass on this knowledge without the gyms. And I think if you have a rock climbing gym, then you will have a hub, you will have a central point. And keep in mind that rock climbing is more than a sport, it's a community and a lifestyle. And I know I've seen it, like people, once they get into it, they get the feel from it and they get addicted. And I've seen it how also it changes people's lives, how people start being a bit more fit, they start looking after themselves a bit more, they start organizing their lives so that they keep the weekends to go rock climbing. And it's really interesting. It's also an activity that can bring the whole family together. So even though it feels like an individual sport, it's not. You have your climbing partner always with you, and you always go to these remote locations, which are excellent for camping and spending some quality family time. Having assistance in case of an accident, you know, this applies more to alpinism, when you go on high altitude and you're really far away from anything. Rock climbing nowadays, the way we do it, we don't go to high altitudes. We don't go very far. Some of the crags are relatively close. Also, the gear has improved a lot, and when it's done with the proper training, it's actually a very safe activity. As long as you do it safely and with the proper training, using the proper equipment, you'll be fine. Yeah, so if you're venturing into outdoor sports, you definitely should try and be respectful of the environment, leaving no garbage and taking into consideration the leave no trace principles. Because just imagine this, if we all start going to the same crag, 20 people spending the whole day there, what do you think is going to happen? And Europe is full of these bad examples, and this is something that I try to encourage because you have a fresh community growing here. So I really try to share these bad experiences that I've seen in Europe and hopefully not do them here.
So usually after a climbing session, we go out for dinner or we go to someone's house and we just catch up a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great because I mean, these guys, the community became our closest friends because we end up spending all our weekends with them. We don't have time to see them during the week, so it's really nice to have a chance to catch up with them after climbing. It's super nice. Yoga in my life and with Phong, it's great because I think the two activities, they go together. Rock climbing is very much about pushing and compressing your muscles, and yoga is mostly about stretching. So it really feels good to do the stretches after a climbing day, also throughout the week to be able to stretch your muscles a bit. Yeah, it's a good combo. Olá malta, isto aqui na Arábia Saudita é porreiro, ainda há muito por explorar. Venham aí que não se vão arrepender.
大家你好，快樂係自己揾出嚟嘅。